Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today we're flying the Cirrus SR22 going from Juneau, Alaska up to Whitehorse in Yukon. Let me pull the sky vector up because I know that is not correct, the time and distance. Alright, it's going to be about a 49-minute flight, 142 miles, so the distance is actually pretty close. Going at 20,000 feet. Climb aboard. Let's go flying. Uh-huh. Oh yes, the snow on the ground. Alright, let's get loaded in here. There we go. I don't even think we need a pushback. It's mostly cloudy. Okay. Let's get the weather first. 240 at 8. That means we'll probably want to take off 26. 10 miles visibility, few clouds at 1500, scattered at 2600, and overcast at 4300. 16 Celsius on the ground, 61 Fahrenheit, 30.20 on the altimeter. I actually don't know what this means right here. I've not seen that before, but probably doesn't matter to us. Alright. So we got that, let's go ahead and get the aircraft set up. Battery switch on. First things first. It's only just before 11 in the morning. Alaska time. CDI to GPS. Let's get that initialized. Turn the second battery. I forgot this plane has 2 battery switches. I mean, the X-Cub only has 1. And you get so used to that, then. Man, so I'm just looking for something real quick here. Alright, there's a drain on the amperage. We do want to get the engine up. Going soon here. Let's turn the nav lights and strobe lights on. And yeah, that's a -5. That's a drain on the battery. Oh, fire truck driving right in front of us. We're okay, I promise. Hey Maria, welcome. Flight sim checklist. Snow on the ground in the summer, trucks on the runway. Check. Oh, man. Alright, let's get back in and go ahead and get this cranked up. Alright, so we're gonna do magneto key. I've been so used to flying the X-Cub the last couple days. Look outside the cockpit. Clear left, clear right. We do have the pushback in front of us, but it'll move once we get the engine started. He is clear of the immediate vicinity of the prop, so we're okay. Let me cycle the mixture. Mixture full, rich, boost pump on, prop area clear. Clear! Engine started, oil pressure's immediately up into the green. Temperature is beginning to rise. Alternator switches on, now we have 1. And we can turn the avionics on. Lights are good. Now let's get set up here. We're gonna go at Yes, that is right. 20,000. $20,000 set. We'll turn the FLC on and set that to 110. Heading. You know what? Relative to where we're parked right now, that's going to be it roughly. Not exact. We'll have that for takeoff. We'll wait to turn VNAV. We'll turn all of that on once we get out toward the runway. Alright, I actually am going to pull up the ground chart for Juneau, because I'm actually not very familiar with taxiing out of here. I honestly don't remember if I've done a flight out of Juneau. I know I've flown into it several times, but let me get the diagram pulled up, and I'll actually pull it up on the screen for you all as well. Okay, so we're parked somewhere over here, and we're gonna have to taxi all the way down to that end of the runway there. So it's gonna be a bit of a lengthy taxi this morning to get down to the approach end of 26, which is the wind is favorable, and that's also the better direction to take off. We'll have a less significant turn to get on course, basically take off and then just a little bit right like that, relative to the direction of the runway. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off, go back into the flight sim here. I'm gonna keep a reference here though, that. Alright, engine is started. We're gonna do something I normally don't do, but because we have a lengthy taxi, I'm actually going to lean the mixture once we get moving, to save a little bit of fuel, because we're not carrying much. Just go out of the cockpit real quick, check the flight controls. Rudder's good, ailerons are good, and I did that backwards. Rudder, elevator, and ailerons last, or all are good. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. I don't know if that came through or not. The fire truck is still roaming around. Alright, let's release the parking brake and we're good to begin taxiing. So let's throttle up here. Don't worry about the tug, the pushback. Won't render a collision. Obviously, in the real world, we would wait until he's clear. And let's come up this way. This is Bravo 2, and we want a left turn coming up on Alpha. So we don't have to stop here. That's an incorrect marking, actually. There should be a single solid, single dashed yellow line, not a double solid, double dashed. But we're just going to follow this down the whole way. And we're going to lean the mixture just a little bit until we have a drop in the power. There it is. We're gonna put the power back in. It's not significant, but it's a little bit. And this is a common practice in the real world. When you have a long taxi, you lean the mixture to burn less fuel on the ground. Doesn't make a huge difference, but every little bit helps, especially if you are strapped for fuel. We're rolling a bit fast. Let's come back on the power. We can touch the brakes gently to slow down. We don't really want to taxi faster than about 20 knots. We're going almost 30. I think the wind pushing us is helping. That's a bit better. If I take a look out there, there's more hangars. We already passed the airline terminal. Runway lights are on because the weather's not great. Not horrible. Oh look, no snow on that side. That still to this day baffles me how that works. There's also just out back this way, there's really not any snow. It's just right here around the airport. Good old flight sim. I wonder if 2024 fixes that. I think it does, because they actually implement seasons. I bet flying up here is absolutely beautiful this time of year. And I bet it would be even more impressive in 2024 with the seasonal variation. And then, of course, it would be real life. That would just be absolutely spectacular. Still going a little fast, speeding up to about 30 again. And we're running idle power on the engine. We are coming up to the end of the runway right here. Turn. And let's stop. Let's not go past that more. You don't want to do that in the real world. Alright. Now we'll set the parking brake. The first thing we need to do before we, or in case we forget later on, while I'm thinking about it, we're going to put the mixture full rich. You actually need to do that for the run-up. But if you take off, I've actually done this once before. If you take off with full power and your mixture is leaned, you actually can overheat the engine. So I actually did a aborted or rejected takeoff out of Tanana one time because I forgot to set the power back to, or set the mixture to full rich, and it overheated the engine, so we immediately had to reject and then reset and taxi back. Hey Rhett, welcome. Sorry I've been missing a lot of streams. I'm in South Carolina. No worries. Hey, what you doing over here? Welcome to Palmetto State. Everything's going well. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your time. It's good to see you again. Alright, parking brake is set. The mixture is full rich. We checked the flight controls, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and do flaps to half. Now we'll do a quick run up. Gonna bring the power up to 1700 RPMs. Yeah, that's close enough, 1690. Do a mag check real quick. That's a good drop, back to both. Good drop. Engine instruments are all in the green. There's no warnings, errors, cautions, anything like that. So we'll go ahead and pull the power back to idle. Let's get the rest of the autopilot set up here. Landing light could come on while we're holding short. FLC is already on, so we're good there. VNAV doesn't need to come on, but we'll turn the altitude hold on. We're going to set our heading to... About 260, 261 is good. And we can fine-tune when we get out there. Oh, you're seeing your cousin is in the Coast Guard. Alright, well, yeah, hope you have a great time. Alright, let's clear the runway. We're good that direction. We're good that direction. I don't know why this airport has a pulsating VASI in-game. I know when we were flying in here the other day, that actually confused me a little bit. But pulsating VASIs are actually really cool. They're accurate. Just, it's not correct for this airport. So, I love planes. Welcome. Popping in to say hi. I'm on a road trip, so bad Wi-Fi, but have a nice stream. I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah. Hope you travel safe wherever you're heading. We're also in Palmetto. Oh, well, yeah, South Carolina's the Palmetto State. So, when I refer to it. Alright, release the parking brake. Let's get taxied out onto the runway here. Final check mixture is rich, and landing light is on. Runway is clear both directions. Doesn't hurt to double check. No bad behaved vehicles, so we are good. Alright, we're line up 2-6. Oh, you know what? Our heading bug is a little bit off. So I'm gonna do just a quick, very quick, just line up to current. Alright. Full power. Here we go. Our rudder airspeed's already alive. Engine instruments are looking good. Rotate at 77. Up. There we go. Hit the brakes. We've already got a good rate of climb. Bring the flaps up. Gotta hang out with your cousin, so you gotta go. No worries. Have a great time with them. I do appreciate you stopping by. And we're good to turn the autopilot on.
Engaging autopilot.
The FLC shut off. And we started to drop the nose there. That should not have happened. I don't know why the FLC shut off when we took off. Alright. Well, let's grab a quick view. Beautiful out there, no snow. Beautiful over here, lots of snow. Oh, and it's set to 115. Let's turn that down to 110. That'll give us a better rate of climb. And I think we can actually go ahead and begin a turn on course. We should clear that terrain by the time we get to it. And we'll go ahead and turn the nav switch on. That'll turn us to the heading we selected, and then once we intercept the GPS track, we'll be on course. We are good to go already. I'm going to try to shuffle this music a bit. Only 3,000 feet up in the air, the temperature's already down to 9 Celsius, or 3,500 I should say. So we're going to be going through these clouds. We shouldn't have to worry about icing here unless the temperature continues to drop really rapidly. Don't think that's going to be the case. And we're climbing nice. How about a quick view out of the cockpit here? So, some houses and stuff. There's the airport. The main part of Juneau, I believe, is over here. Might be over here. It's a little tough to see now that it's starting to thin out, the clouds. I think I need to bump the music down just a little bit there. Lots of mountains up here. And yeah, we're about to go through that cloud layer. Let's go back into the cockpit. 7 Celsius, we'll turn the pitot heat on. We need to have that on below 4, I believe. And we're just going to do a full power climb for now. Well, you know what? We're actually going to be clear of all that terrain. We can actually reduce the power. And we'll do a cruise climb rich of peak. So, couple options. You could do a full power climb with the mixture full. Or just at the bottom of the green arc. Like that. Or, we can pull back. Right down to that 30.5, which is cruise power. max cruise power, I should say. And we'll lean the mixture to max power, which is going to be right about 20 gallons per hour. Because if you go full power in the climb, you're eating often 35 gallons per hour, which it's not going to take us anywhere that long to climb, but it can really burn. And we're a little bit light on fuel today, so this is the better way to go. And that right there is... right there's peak power. Alright, above the clouds it's 3 Celsius, and we are... yeah, we're above the clouds. Totally, as far as I can see. And we're on the GPS track. And this is showing an hour and 6 minutes. It's not going to take that long, because we'll accelerate once we get... if we were to go at this speed, it would take us that long to get there. But of course, once we level off at cruise altitude, we're going to pick up a ton of speed. You can see a few mountains out in the background. Come out here and you take a look in the distance. We'll zoom in. These are some really high peaks over toward the Alaska-Canada border, over by... I want to say that's near Yakutat, but there's some really tall peaks. I believe this is Mount... is it Mount Logan, I think, is one of the highest in Canada. It's like 19,000. It's just a little below Denali. Pretty view out there, of course. The clouds are obscuring most. It does clear up a little over here. I think the weather in Whitehorse is actually considerably better than it is over here in Juneau. Alright, while we're climbing, let's go ahead and pull up our map. And yeah, the GPS track is actually showing properly. Our route today, so here's Juneau where we took off. We are going up to Whitehorse. So pretty much straight north, not quite. But for reference, over here when we flew into Juneau the other day, we took off from Skagway. That's going to be off to our left here. Haines, the Lynn Canal. These are the White Pass and Chilkoot trails. We'll actually be flying pretty much right over Bennett Lake. And then you'll get a good view of Tagish Lake and the Yukon River as it curves around up into Whitehorse right over here. And these, of course, as I've mentioned, were the routes that Stampeders during the Klondike Gold Rush back in, I think, 1898. That's the way that they went. I'd take a boat up to Skagway or Dyea and take one of those two trails, and they would converge at Lake Bennett, or Bennett Lake. I don't know what it's... I say both. It means the same thing, but I don't know which one is actually the official or proper. And then the Stampeders would spend the rest of the winter here until the ice melted, and then they would go up the lake. And they'd basically sail up the Yukon, past Whitehorse, and past, let's see some of it over here, Carmack's, and Dawson. Up there is where they would go gold mining. Hey, Camellia, how are you? Alright. We're almost up to 18,000. Once we get there, we're going to go ahead and set standard pressure. There's 18,000. We'll go ahead and set standard pressure. Where's Gizmo, the gamer? Haven't seen him in a while. I haven't seen Gizmo in a while. $19,000, we have 1,000 feet to go until we reach cruise. And temperature up here is minus 13. That's actually, minus 14. That's actually still warmer than average. Or at least warmer than standard. There we are. Leveled off at 20,000 feet, that's our cruise altitude. So I'm going to back the mixture down just a little bit. Right back down to that 20.0. That's good right there. Alright. Now that we're at cruise, we can turn the landing light off. We could have done that earlier, but it's fine to turn it off at cruise. Sometimes you leave it on. I remember him telling you to build some cool stuff like a dive coaster. Gizmo is the unbeatable, he's cool. You must be Gizmo, you must have changed your name. Unless you're somebody that just lurked when Gizmo was around. Alright, minus 15 up here, that's actually a pretty good temperature, and good airspeed. The other thing we can do is turn the boost pump off, and we can actually switch that so we don't get an imbalance. What do you mean I'm Gizmo and how do you know? I'm not 100% sure, but if you're familiar enough to know about him asking the dive coaster, and the picture looks a little familiar. Alright, clouds are breaking up a little bit, so we get a great view up here once these clouds kind of thin out. You can see the mountains below. Now you look out this direction and you can see better. The highest peaks out toward Yakutat and the Alaska-Yukon border. Let me pull the tracker. Or not the tracker, let me pull... Oh, you know what? They don't show up on SkyVector because they're in Canada, technically. And those are not marked. Oh well. It's just a little bit bumpy. Not bad. Looks like you're 2,000 feet in the air. I'm 20,000 feet in the air. Alright. And if we zoom in and take a look here, we're actually getting a pretty decent crosswind. So we have a correction angle of about 6 degrees to the left. And we have about a 6 knot headwind, 7 knots. That's not bad. It's really not going to slow us down much. Because with this power, we're actually doing better over the ground than I had planned for. And at this rate, we're looking about just under a half hour to Whitehorse. Which means we're really only going to be up here at cruise altitude for about 15 minutes. Actually, probably even less, depending on what runways are in use up at Whitehorse. We're too far away to get the weather right now. But we'll pick it up a little later. There's some light turbulence up here. It's not bad. Should Mr. Beast be here? Eh. It'd be fine if he wanted to come by, but... I don't ever expect anybody to show up. It'd always be nice to have whoever wants to. Alright, we can get the weather by clicking on the airport here. 020 at 5, so the wind is actually out of the north. It's kind of variable. Great visibility, few clouds at 7,000, 26,000 scattered, 15 Celsius. And 30.24 on the altimeter. So we actually will probably have an early descent going into Whitehorse. We do have the ILS for 3-2 left. That's the main runway. You can bring him here, but you may have to leave and come back tomorrow or later. Oh, Bromik, welcome! There are those of us who just happen to see you're flying when I happen to log into YouTube and lurking while you teach us all things small planes. I can't teach everything about it, but I try to cover at least as much as relevant. Alright, so I think we are going to do the ILS. We'll set up for that. We could probably go visual. But that means we're going to be descending in probably 6 or 7 minutes in that case. Maybe not that, maybe not quite that soon. We can zoom out a little bit on the map here. So we are basically over the border. Not quite. But if I pull the map up here, we'll be able to see Haines, Skagway. There's another airport over here, I don't know what it is. Atlin, British Columbia. Ah. So the border with the Yukon kind of comes up here and around like that, and then it flattens out at, I believe, 60 degrees latitude north of British Columbia, which kind of runs, I think, right through here. So I think we're still technically in Alaska proper, but we're basically flying Yeah, so we'll be just a little bit over the border. Very small portion of the flight goes through British Columbia. And then into the Yukon. Nice view up here. The clouds kind of thin out. You can see some glaciers. You can't see it well, but there is a little bit of water. That's the Lynn Canal off the left wingtip. That's where people sail up to Skagway and Haines. Actually is more cloudy over there than I thought it would be. Alright, Camellia, take it easy. Have a great rest of the day, okay? Clears up a little out that way. Alright, tell you what, since we are going pretty fast up through here, let's go ahead and get a, let's get an approach selected. We'll just set up easily for the ILS. So here are the fixes. Okatov, I think, is going to be the final approach fix. So let me scroll down. Oh, you can't. So you'd have to go to this fix, or the VOR and turn around. But we can actually just set up with, not really worried about any of that, but we can actually go direct to this VETVO, and that'll set us right on the approach course. So let's actually go direct. So it's going to be a very slight turn, get us on course to there. Want to load, not activate. So 15 minutes to that fix and about 21 minutes into Whitehorse. It actually may not give us a top of descent point. Let me see if I can get it. Oh! Yeah, really pretty view of some high mountains out that direction there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and set this down to 5,000. Just we do have some terrain to contend with, so I don't want to accidentally fly into it or anything. If we look off to our left, we should... Nope, it's... yeah, the clouds have thickened, so you can't really see it. But if it was clear, you'd be able to see basically the channel that leads right into Skagway. Let me try to go back in here. activate vector to final. So here's where it's telling us our top of descent, so it's in a couple miles. We can't go direct to that, but we can go direct to this and then just change our heading a little bit at that point. We're really booking it now. The wind has shifted. Now we're only getting about a 1 to 2 knot headwind. Pretty strong crosswind, though. Let me see if we can set that. No, it's got to be on Loc 1. Okay. As long as we navigate this properly, we should be okay. Now we can get out of that. Oh, and we lost our top of descent point when we switched it. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do is turn 15 minutes to that, so we need to start down. So 5,000 feet is set. We're going to go ahead, VNav on, vertical speed on, and we're going to start down. We need to pull back on the power down to about 30%. That's probably okay right there, actually. Alright, no worries, Camellia. Beautiful out that way. Can't really see a whole lot out there. The clouds are thinner, but you can't really see the terrain below much. Alright, we should be in range to get the weather at Whitehorse now. Pick it up real quick. Oh, it's not available. Alright, let's go back into the map and grab it that way. And look at how it's got this going. It's really wonky. We might have to book it down. 30.24 on the altimeter. Let's go ahead and just set that so we are going below 18,000. Our setting's good. We just want to keep this above 240. We're going to enrich in the mixture. Do you see how this is a little bit below the green bar? We want to keep this at the bottom of the green when we're descending, so we're going to just enrich in it just a little bit. Right about 10 is the bottom of the green at this power. So we're good there. A quick look outside, see if we can... Yeah, oh yeah, okay, this is it right here. This is the start of Bennett Lake, I believe. So this is where all of the Stampeders would set up camp for the remainder of winter until the ice melted off the lake and they could begin sailing up. Out over here, I believe, is Tagish Lake. Might go, that might be up here. Yeah, that's a... No, you know what? Yeah, so Bennett Lake started over here, I believe. Yeah. So it's going to be off to our left. And we can't see it because of the clouds. I'll come back into the cockpit here. As we descend, we may need to periodically bump the mixture up a little bit, just to keep it at that 10, the bottom of the green. Because if you descend with the mixture, you generally lean it out more the higher up you are, because the air is thinner. So in order to take more air in, you have to lean the mixture more. And as the air gets denser, as you descend, then it becomes too lean, so you have to enrich in it periodically. What makes you think I'm Gizmo? I mentioned your picture and kind of the way you're talking. It sounds similar to how Gizmo would. Alright, now we're getting a bit better view. So yeah, this over here, it's a little tough to see at the moment, but this right here I believe is Bennett Lake. And then it kind of turns up there. Alright, it's -5, we're starting to go through some clouds, so I am going to go ahead and turn the de-icing on for a couple minutes, just in case. And yeah, we can see little trace of ice starting to form there on the windscreen down here. It's nothing we really need to worry about. Let me go and make sure vectors to final are... yeah. Alright, the wind is settling down. It's pretty much a direct crosswind right now. So I want to come out over here to try to pick up the approach course. So we are going to turn... oh, nav is off. Heading should be on. And we're going to turn kind of over this way. We do have to keep an eye on this terrain here. I don't think it's gonna be a problem on the descent, but we will have to keep an eye out for it. But you can kind of see Whitehorse is up here, I believe. What am I up to today? Just flying, hanging out, getting some stuff done at the house. Alright, I'm gonna turn nav mode on so we intercept the approach course once we get to it. I'm a little cautious about this terrain over here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, we're on a good course for an intercept. Return to dip down through there. Turn just a little bit. If we start seeing green on the map, then we'll just know to use a little bit of caution. We're fine over all of this right now. If it's yellow, we'll have to pay real close attention. Because that's less than 1,000 feet. We're technically supposed to remain 500 feet at a minimum above terrain. There's an airport pretty much right ahead. I think it's just a little gravel strip. Right here. Carcross. Yep. This is kind of a break. This is Bennett Lake, this is Tagish Lake right here, so it's actually a very, very narrow pass. There's a little bit of green, but we've got plenty of clearance going over all of this. So we are looking pretty good here. Let me just make sure these are on. That is. Once we get established on the track, we'll turn approach mode on. It'll get us to descend into the airport. And the wind is much more calm down here, only about 3 to 4 knots, and it's shifted into a headwind. Pretty representative of what the weather at Whitehorse is doing right now too, so. So, the Stampeders would sail kind of up this way, and the Yukon runs up through here, and then eventually it curves back around up here into Whitehorse. So say in about 12 minutes we'll be on the ground. Exit icing. Oh, we can turn that off. Yeah, it's above 0. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's beautiful out that direction. That's really pretty. We're gonna have pretty much a straight shot. Let's adjust this a little bit. And let me make sure nav is on. It is, so we'll intercept the track once we get to it. We're gonna level off right here. That right here is beautiful. Might have descended just a little faster than we needed to. We can add some power in. What about like that? It'll be a slower cruise. That'll give us time to get everything set up as we need. Mixture's good. We're in the green bar there, about halfway up. So we're good. Let me just go back into the map real quick. $109.5. We need to set that. Oh, it picked it up for us. Okay. Let's turn just a little bit to try to pick that up. Terrain's tapering off. We've got plenty of safe distance between these off to our side. Now we're turning on course. No, don't worry about it. Alright, let's get ready for a couple things here. We can go full rich on the mixture. And the localizer's picked up. We don't have a glide slope yet, so we're just going to keep flying at 5,000 until we get it. We're going to go ahead and back off on the power a little bit. Get down to 150 so we can slow down. We can go half flaps when we need to. We can't drop any flaps until we're below 150. And when we descend, nav mode should be on. Approach should... yeah, we'll follow that in. Am I streaming the music, or is it included in the game? No, I'm streaming it. I have a no copyright playlist that I use for my flight sim streams. Of course, I don't do it for Planet Coaster because the music in that game is sufficient. We should pick up a glide slope here in a moment. We can actually add just a little bit of power back and stay about 145 on the speed there. But we're doing good. That is on, so when we pick that up, we should be okay. I wasn't sure they put so much detail into the game. I wouldn't be surprised if the music was this detailed. Yeah, that's a fair point. But no, this is all streamed. Alright, glide slope has shown up. It's this green diamond up here on this bar right here. Once we cross over it, that will start our descent into the airport, which I believe is going to be just in a couple miles before we get to that fix. But unfortunately, SkyVector doesn't include the Canadian charts, so unlike when we're flying different places that pull up the approach chart and know kind of where to intercept and what altitudes to pick up, we just have to set ourselves up a little bit further out so we can let the in-game GPS take care of all of that. 7 minutes to Whitehorse here. Just waiting for this to start coming down, then we'll know. Pretty over here. I mean, the hills kind of start to taper off a little bit. Or I should say the mountains. It still is hilly out over here. That's absolutely beautiful. The weather's much better over here, as the weather had reported. I think we did lose a little time. I think we actually descended a little bit faster than we needed to. But that's alright, we have plenty of time to just make sure that we're configured properly. And you get to enjoy the views a little bit more. This is the final approach fix, so I bet the glide slope is going to pick up coming up onto that. We can actually zoom in a little more on the map. Just waiting for that green. Oh, yep, here it goes. I think. It looked like it was starting to drop. Yeah, we've been flying low for a bit. So how we would have kept a little bit better pace without flying low like this for as long as we did is just when we started our descent, we would set a little bit of a shallower descent, so like a little bit less on the vertical nav. Yeah, oh yeah, here we go. It's dropping. Perfect. And you look up ahead. This is the Yukon River. This is Miles Canyon, I believe, right back here. And then it's kind of, they actually dammed the river to make the rapids less severe. And then Whitehorse Rapids, which the town is named after, sits right over there as well. Basically 2 consecutive dangerous rapids that the Klondike Stampeders had to pass on their way up to Dawson. And the reason they named it Whitehorse Rapids and the town Whitehorse is because the Stampeders said that the water in the rapids looked like the mane, like the flowing mane of a white horse. Allegedly. Alright, and yeah, so the triangle's going down, so we didn't even... Oh, you know what? It's because we didn't descend lower. We're going to disengage the autopilot and just start down manually. We can fly by hand. We actually could do a visual approach. So let's start in here. We're going to pull back on the power a little bit. We're below 150. We'll go flaps to half. And we can see the airport. Trim down. That's a bit better. We're a bit high, so we're going to have to kind of book it down a little bit here. Pull back a little more on the power here. Alright, final things to do. The mixture is going to go full rich. Landing light on. Boost pump on. We'll switch the fuel tank to the left. Let's not veer off course too much. But we want this green diamond to be right in the middle here. That's how we know we're on the right slope. But since we're visual, we're fine. And here we go, we're coming in and picking it up. Trim down a little bit more. Not that much. Alright. The city of Whitehorse is going to be off to the right of the airport. I see the runway. It might be a little bit tough to make out on stream, but these white lights are kind of running. That's leading us right to the runway. That's where we're landing right there. Alright, now we're a little low, so what we're going to do is just level off for a moment. Add some power in. A little bit breezy. It's breezier over here than it was back over the lakes. As we get lower, it should calm down. It's shifting now. Alright, let's come off the power. Let's get below 110. Ooh, it is a little bouncy. We gotta get below 110 before we can do the next level of flaps, and we're a bit high. Alright, we're good now. Alright, flaps full. And yeah, we have a quartering crosswind from the right. Add a little power here. And trim up a little bit. Come on. As you get closer to the airport,
500.
the diamond actually becomes more sensitive, so it requires smaller corrections. Tad bit low, but we're okay. We're 500 feet above airport elevation. Coming in just a tad bit slow. That's about where we want to be, right about 80 knots. Down nice and easy. Speed's good. Now we're looking pretty good on this. Alright. And yeah, the wind is calmer. Oh, beautiful. Alright, let's back off on the power a little bit here. Just float her right down to the runway. Up. I'll float a little bit here. Beautiful. And we're just gonna roll for a minute. Let's go flaps up. We won't go airborne. We're going so slow this plane would not lift back up. And then the easiest way to get to parking is actually going to be to turn onto this cross runway that we're coming up to right here. 0220. So we're going to hit the brakes here. I don't think the line is marked for it. Oh, yes it is. So here's what we're going to do. Going to turn right down here. Don't even go past the terminal. And we're just going to go down the runway and follow all of these. Well, we got trucks kind of moving around. It shouldn't be too bad, though. It's Cookie, you are my favorite YouTuber. Oh, I appreciate that. I try. And we're just rolling nice and slow, just a little under 20 knots. Oh, get out of the way, rogue forklift driver. Ah, it's welcome to Flight Simulator, folks. And this is where all the small planes park, right over here. Oh, my music paused probably because I haven't pulled the screen up in a bit. If you're not watching per se, and you have it minimized, it'll pause after however much time. Now we'll come back here. Oh, the question, all of these are taken up, so I think we're gonna swing around here. Oh, this airport has a tower. How fancy, LOL. Yeah, Whitehorse is actually the biggest city in the Yukon. Where we taxi up to park, because I don't even see a marshaller or anything. I'm gonna turn right in here. What we do for fun, welcome. I flew a famous Cessna yesterday, first controls ever. Oh, which one? Say 172 or 150 or maybe something a little bit more not obscure, but there we are. Alright, parking brake is set. We can go ahead and turn the landing light off, and let's get the plane shut down. We're just about done. Mixture's full rich, this can come off. Flaps are up. This is where all the small planes over here at Whitehorse park. There are probably other areas, but this is always where I start up when I fly out of here. Alright. Avionics can come off. Alternator switches. Clear the cautions. Now to cut the engine, we're gonna pull the mixture. 50 minutes. Okay, so it was a little bit longer, and I think part of that's because we were low to the ground for that extended time setting up on the approach. So did the descent a little bit either too early or too rapid, or maybe even a combination of both. Continue. Engine is stopped. That's all good. Now we can turn the lights off. Oh, Haha. Tried to click the switch and it wanted to select the parking brakes. Strobe off, nav off. And we'll turn that. Now the key off, and last but not least, that battery switch. Skyhawk 172. Oh yeah, famous plane. Most produced plane in the world. Excellent plane to learn to fly in. A friend handed me the controls for about 5 minutes. Oh, that's cool. You know, I hope that leads to somebody else getting into aviation. It's really, I mean, it's expensive, but it's just a totally different world. Alright, plane is off. Let's go out of the cockpit, grab a view around. I'd love to get some custom scenery for this airport. I don't think they have a lot available for it. One of the world updates, the Canada World Update that came out for Flight Sim. They have a handcrafted airport up at Dawson, which is absolutely phenomenal. Whitehorse is the biggest airport in the Yukon, and the scenery for me is a little bit lacking in terms of airport scenery. So I'd really like to find a nice, a really nice scenery set for this airport. Just because it is the largest in the Yukon, and it's central to a lot of stuff in not only the Yukon but also Southeast Alaska. You get flights like we did from Juneau up to Whitehorse, commercial flights. Going up to Dawson as well. Juneau, Skagway, maybe Ketchikan. I'd have to look, see about that. But here we are on the ground at Whitehorse. Weather's pretty. Scenery's pretty. I just love the rolling hills. They're kind of mountains, but they're definitely more modest than further toward the coast, or when you go further up into the Yukon. But that's going to do it for this one, although, actually, I'm impressed we have a good turnout today. Do y'all want me to do another flight? I've got time. Could grab a plane and load up somewhere else. Probably do a short flight, or I could take a break and come back a little bit later. And I do think I'll be doing Planet Coaster 2 tonight. That said, before I go, I do plan on getting the Game Pass and downloading Flight Sim 2024. And I just want to give it a test run, so to speak, to make sure that it runs well on my computer and that I can do what I want with it. Because it has had a pretty rough start, reputation-wise. There's a lot of people that say it runs fantastic for them, there's a lot of people that say it runs terrible for them, and then there are plenty of people that actually say they get mixed results. Sometimes it runs well and sometimes it doesn't. So before I drop money on it and, per se, switch over to 2024, I want to give it a trial run first. Can I fly the airplane like 50,000 feet in the air only if I want? I cannot with this plane. This plane will not go higher than about 25,000. What game that has been released in the last 2 years hasn't had a tough run? I don't know, but I don't play a lot of games. There's probably some of you that play way more games than I do, and so, yeah, I mean, Planet Coaster 2 had a rough start, but they drastically improved. Flight Sim 24 had a rough start, and it has, dare I say, I mean, I can't evaluate firsthand yet, but the consensus is that it has not had a really good recovery. For some people, I guess it has, but for other people, they're still having a lot of trouble with it. Or outright can't get it to run. So, that's why I really want to give it a trial run. So, Game Pass, $1 for 2 weeks. I'll be able to try Flight Sim 24 for 2 weeks and just experiment with it in different conditions and see how it works before I decide to pull the trigger or not. So, yeah, tell you what. Let's see, it's 4 in the afternoon here on the East Coast. I want to get up and do a few things. I'll come back and probably do one more flight later on. And then we'll do Planet Coaster 2 this evening, I think. I don't know, it is a little tough jumping around between the two. So, as much as I like trying to do both games, I might have to try to alternate on several days, and then there would still be a few days where I'd be able to do both. I wasn't being accusatory, sorry if you thought that. I did not. No, all good. I mean, you make a good point. There's a lot of games that are big-name games that have had very rocky reputations, or at least to start. But I don't know of the other ones that do, and which ones have actually been just acclaimed from the beginning. So, but no, I did not think that, no worries. Alright folks, I'm going to end the stream here. Welcome to Whitehorse in beautiful Yukon. We'll pick back up a little later. Thanks for flying with me. As always, take care, stay safe. We'll see you later.